My project is about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s message of nonviolence. Nonviolence is refraining from the use of violence, especially when reacting to or protesting against injustice. In my opinion, this sculpture could be the symbol of nonviolence because the knot on the end of the gun shows not violence or no violence. This could also show we should stop violence. An important person in the history of nonviolence was Mahatma Gandhi. He led the people of India to freedom and independence with nonviolence. He was one of the inspirations for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was alive during segregation. Once he grew up, he knew that he needed to change what was going on. He wanted to fight violence with nonviolence. He gathered many people to help him protest. It was very hard to do because the police would arrest them. Even though it was hard and dangerous, he led the protests. He was the role model to many, many people. His way of non-violently fighting worked well, even though he wasn't there to see his fight for equality become hugely successful. His death actually motivated people to want to complete his dream for him. This is an image of a Muslim-Jewish peace walk. I use this picture because it is a non-violent fight for peace. This is in Beijing, China in 1989. This man stood up in front of tanks that weren't afraid to kill him to make a change in human rights in China. He knew that many other people had been killed by these tanks on this day, but he refused to move. He stood up alone in front of the tanks to change the situation. He was a student in Beijing, along with other students trying to change the Chinese rights. Many people were arrested as well. Afterwards, he was arrested too. Even today, people still non-violently protest. This was a protest about the war in Iran. These people were trying to get the government to stop the war. This was a protest in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s time. These people wanted equal rights. As you can see, there were many different skin colors fighting for civil rights. They wanted all people to be equal, no matter what their skin color was. This is Julia Butterfly Hill in a tree in California. She was protesting for the trees because they were about to be cut down. She lived in the tree for about 1.5 years. She built a house and made a survivable living in the tree. She was asked many, many times but refused to get down. She was eventually pulled down by the police. She wanted to make a change. She wanted the trees to stay in that forest forever. This is Julia up close in the tree. Her nickname was Luna. As you can see in the picture, she climbed very, very high up in the tree. She didn't care how long she had to stay up there. She just wanted to protect the trees. Can you imagine living up there for 1.5 years? Hoot is a movie about 3 kids who want to save the owls in the forest from being killed. In the movie, the company wants to build on the land where the owl's habitat is. The kids take a nonviolent stand to make a change for the owls and their community. When I thought of an example of nonviolent protest, I thought of the movie Hoot. Even kids can nonviolently fight for a change.